How are you guys doing? Today is Thursday, December 3rd, 2020, here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to take you through yesterday's action. Of course, going through yesterday's Wednesday night football matchup, which saw the Steelers pick up their 11th win of the season, some college basketball amongst ranked opponents, and the second day of the fifth match day of the Champions League group stage. But starting off with the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers hosted the Baltimore Ravens, were able to beat them 19-14. Joe Hayden pick six was started off, giving the Steelers a 6-0 lead. Then a Gus Edwards touchdown would give the Ravens the lead. 2 field goals in the second quarter by the Steelers would put the Steelers up 12-7, and then a touchdown pass to Juju Smith-Schuster would put the Steelers up 19-7, and then a Marquise Brown 70-yard touchdown pass from Trace McSorley would bring the Ravens into striking distance, but the Steelers would be able to hold the Raiders off to get their 11th win of the season. Looking at how the Ravens fared statistically, their starting quarterback, RG3, would complete 7 of his 12 passes, throwing for 33 yards and an interception. He also ran for 68 yards on the ground, which would give him 101 total yards of offense. Trace McSorley, the backup, came in. He completed 2 of his 6 passes, throwing for 77 yards and a touchdown. And then through the air, their leading receiver was Marquise Brown, who had 85 yards on 4 receptions and a touchdown. Only 3 Ravens receivers had we were able to get receiving yards on the day. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Chuck Clark was their leading tackler. He had 13 tackles on the day, 1.5 of them for loss. Anthony Levine Sr. would end up recovering a fumble with his 1 tackle, and then Tyus Bowser picked up an interception as well, as he went on to finish just with the interception for the day. Looking at how the Pittsburgh Steelers fared, their starting quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, would complete 36 of his 51 passes, throwing for 266 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. On the ground, Benny Snell Jr. was able to run for 60 yards on 16 carries, and then he was also able to get 33 yards through the air on 3 receptions to give him 93 total yards of offense on the day. Their leading receiver was Eric Ebron, who had 54 yards and 7 receptions, and Juju Smith-Schuster, he had 37 yards on 8 receptions and a touchdown. On the defensive side of the ball, TJ Watt was their leading tackler. He had 7 tackles on the day. He had 2 sacks. Vince Williams was able to recover a fumble as well. And as the Pittsburgh Steelers their defense was kind of getting a lot of things going at the moment. And also Joe Hayden finished with an interception for 14 yards and a touchdown. Once again, Joe Hayden picking up a big interception. He also had 2 tackles on the day for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big day overall for the Steelers. And looking at the AFC North right now, with this win, the Pittsburgh Steelers are 11-0 with the best record in the AFC, 1 game ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning 2020 Super Bowl champs. And Baltimore is sitting 3rd in the AFC North. They are 2 games now behind the Cleveland Browns at 6-5, and they are, if I get this correct, I think they're about 4.5 games better than the Cincinnati Bengals right now. I think 3.5, because the Bengals are 2-8-1 at this very moment. So this concludes the 11th week of the NFL, or I'm sorry, the 12th week of the NFL, jumping into week 13. There's no Thursday night football because I think it jumps right into Sunday football. So that's everything going on for that. I'll get back to you with NFL on Monday. Jumping into college basketball to show you what's been going on in that schedule, going amongst the ranked opponents. For top-ranked Gonzaga was able to be 11th-ranked West Virginia at the Jimmy V Classic. Joel Ayayi finished with 21 points to lead the Gonzaga Bulldogs to victory. Second-ranked Baylor was able to be 5th-ranked Illinois 82-69. Davian Mitchell finished with 15 points to give Baylor their 3rd win of the season. They're undefeated still, just like Gonzaga. 17th-ranked Texas was able to beat 14th-ranked UNC at the Camping World Maui Invitational by 2 points. Matt Coleman hit the game winner, and he finished with 22 points on the day to give Texas the 4-0 record as North Carolina drops to 3-1. Unranked Mizzou was able to be 21st ranked Oregon in Oregon's first basketball game of the season. Xavier Pinson with 22 points against Eugene Omurui. He had 31 points and 11 rebounds, but it wasn't enough for Oregon. Oregon starts off the season 0-1, even though they're ranked. 22nd ranked Florida State was able to be unranked North Florida 86-58. MJ Walker finished with 17 points to lead them to victory. And 23rd ranked Ohio State remains undefeated after beating Morehead State 77-44. EJ Liddell finished with 16 points to help Ohio State get their 3rd win of the season. And looking out to what's going on today with ranked basketball, third-ranked Iowa takes on Western Illinois at home at 8 o'clock. Kansas takes on Washburn. Kansas ranked 7th, they're 2-1. 16th ranked Virginia Tech will face off against VMI. And 25th ranked Arizona State will go to Berkeley to face off against unranked Cal. Both teams are 2-1, so of course that's going to be a big game as well. That's what's going on with college basketball. And last but not least, jumping into Champions League soccer, just to show you the conclusion of the 5th match day of Champions League soccer, just going through the groups. Because on Tuesday, groups A through D played. So now it's going to be groups E through H, going just through the groups individually. Because going into this week, 8 teams had already qualified for Champions League. Those teams being Bayern Munich, Manchester City, FC Porto, Liverpool. Those are the teams from Group A through D. Now going through Group E, just going at the top of that list. Chelsea was able to beat Sevilla FC, the team that they were tied at the top of their group with. They beat them 4-0. Olivier Giroud finished with 4 goals for Chelsea. He had 3, and he had a hat trick in the second half by himself, finishing it off with a penalty kick in the 83rd minute to give Chelsea a big win, and now they have a 3-point lead over Sevilla, and they might run away with this division. And Krasnodar took on Stade Rennes, and in this game, Krasnodar beat Stade Rennes 1-0 with Berg's 71st minute goal. Looking out to that table, Chelsea leads the top. They're sitting at the top with 13 points. Sevilla has 10. Krasnodar and Stade Rennes have already been relegated to Europa League, but Chelsea and Sevilla, even though they advanced, Chelsea's looking like the much stronger side after that win. Moving on to Group F, Borussia Dortmund tied with Lazio 1-1. Guerrero scored the first goal of the game. That was for Borussia Dortmund, and Ciro Immobile would score the 65th minute penalty for Lazio to, of course, tie it up. And then looking at the other matchup in this group, Club Brugge went on to beat Zenit St. Petersburg 3-0. They scored 2 goals in the second half and following their first one, and then that's a big win for them. And looking out into this group, Borussia Dortmund, Lazio, and Club Brugge. Technically, mathematically, Dortmund hasn't advanced. Neither has Lazio, as they're both Borussia Dortmund has 10 points in the table. Lazio has 9. Club Brugge is sitting at 7. Zenit St. Petersburg has already been relegated. But really quickly, looking at what's going on next week, how these games are going to fare. Lazio will take on Club Brugge, and Borussia Dortmund will take on Zenit St. Petersburg. A win for Lazio and Borussia Dortmund next week could mean that both teams advance. And additionally, if Club Brugge beats Lazio, Club Brugge could advance. With Borussia Dortmund playing Zenit St. Petersburg, it looks like Borussia Dortmund is they're definitely going to advance. If Lazio even ties Club Brugge, additionally, Lazio will advance. But if Club Brugge beats Lazio, Club Brugge will take Lazio's place in the Champions League knockout stages. And then jumping to Group G, looking out to how all these teams fared yesterday. Starting off with Barcelona. Barcelona ended up being Ferencváros 3-0. Antoine Griezmann scored in the 14th minute. Braithwaite in 20. And then Ousmane Dembele scored the penalty kick in the 28th minute. And then there was no scoring after that. 3 goals for Barca and 3 points in the table as they take yet another league. And then Juventus ended up beating Dynamo Kiev 3-0. Kessié was scored in the 21st minute. Cristiano Ronaldo would score his 750th career goal. And then Morata was scored in the 66th minute to give Juventus 3 goals and yet 3 points, just like Barcelona. Both teams are set for the Barcelona-Juventus face-off, where Cristiano Ronaldo may face off against Lionel Messi for the last time in a bit. I mean, until they probably face off against in champion or in knockout stages. But of course, both teams are playing incredibly well in Champions League, and I think that's going to be a very big matchup to look forward to. And then last but not least, looking into Group H, the most competitive group in this Champions League stage, sitting at the top, you have Manchester United, PSG, and RB Leipzig all tied together. I'll walk you through that. First off, RB Leipzig beat Istanbul Basaksehir 4-3, as Poulsen would score in the Poulsen and Mukei would score in the first half for RB Leipzig, going up 2-0, and then Kavici would score in the extra time in the first half. Going into the half, it was 2-1, but then Olmo's goal would put RB Leipzig up 3-1, and then 2 goals from Kavici would tie the game up at 3, and then Sarloth's goal in the final minute would give RB Leipzig the win and would give them 9 points in the table to tie them up with PSG and Man United. PSG and Man United are tied at 3 because PSG beat Man United 3-1 yesterday. Neymar scored 2 goals. Neymar scored in the 6th minute to put PSG up 1-0. Marcus Rashford would score in the 32nd minute to tie it at 1. Marquinhos would score in the 69th minute to make it 2-1, and then Neymar would score in the 91st minute to give PSG a much needed win. 3 goals for PSG in the game, and then 3 points in the table. Right now, because of goal differentials, Manchester United sits at the very top of the table with 9 points. PSG is sitting second with 9. Because they have a better goal differential than Leipzig. Leipzig also has 9 points. Mathematically, Istanbul Basaksehir here is eliminated, so it comes down to the final week, and the best 2 teams will advance to Champions League. Looking at to how those games are scheduled, starting off, PSG will play Istanbul Basaksehir after beating RB Leipzig and Man U after being third in the table. So it looks as though PSG will be the team to advance. But if Istanbul Basaksehir wins and RB Leipzig and Manchester United draw, both teams will advance. And at the same time, Manchester United beating RB Leipzig would advance them. RB Leipzig beating Manchester United would advance them. But it looks like PSG is sitting very comfortably, but PSG still has to win their next game. They cannot lose. And even if PSG draws, PSG should advance. That's kind of the best thing about Champions League, and we're going to see how all of it unfolds next week. And then, in addition to that, there's a good amount of Europa League, but I will get back to you with Champions League. I will get back to you with Champions League on Tuesday, just to preview the final week, just to show you how Champions League could play out with all these teams playing together. But as of right now, looking down the table, starting with Group A, Bayern Munich has advanced. They're the first team to advance because they have the best record in their league. Atleticos and Salzburg are competing for that final spot, and Lokomotiv Moscow can make it out of Group A. In Group B, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Real Madrid and Internacional, all 4 teams in Group B can mathematically have a chance of advancing to the next round. So that's going to be a very big group to watch. For Group C, Manchester City and FC Porto have already advanced. Olympiacos and Marseille have been relegated to Europa League. Liverpool's already advanced as Atalanta and Ajax will fight for the second spot in Group D. In Group E, Chelsea and Sevilla have already clinched. And then Group F, Borussia Dortmund and Lazio and Club Brugge are all mathematically still competing for the same 2 spots. In Group G, Barca and Juventus have already advanced. And then we're still looking at Man U, PSG, and RB Leipzig competing for the final spot. So, of course, with Bayern Munich, Man City, FC Porto, Liverpool, Chelsea, Sevilla, and Barca and Juventus, no new teams have advanced to the next round, but it's made it a lot closer. So now we're going to look for the remaining teams. 8 teams have already advanced, so now we're going to look for the teams to compete to see who gets the last 8 all in 1 week. So that's going to be a very action-packed week of Champions League next week, and I can't wait. And once again, it is Thursday, December 3rd, 2020 out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims. I want to thank you once again for listening to all 14 minutes of this piece. I will get back to you on Friday to preview what's going on over the weekend, even though there's no Thursday. Or considering there's no Thursday night football, I might as well get back to you on Monday following the weekend. But with that said, I really appreciate listening in, and I hope everyone is well, especially going through this COVID virus, going through the quarantine. But with that all said and done, I thank you once again for listening to my piece, and peace out.